Welcome on into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here talking about the number one topic that everyone wants to talk about, and that is where do things stand in the Browns rookie quarterback battle between Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel following rookie minicamp going into OTAs and minicamp. So we're going to unpack some of the latest odds and the buzz out there on these two QBs. Now, I do have to make a quick announcement, and it's a bittersweet announcement. But next Friday, May 23rd, will be my last day at Chat Sports. I've decided to make a complete career change, and I'm excited for this new chapter of my life, but I will be moving on from being the host of the Browns Report as a result, and that's a lot of where the bitterness comes in with that bittersweet announcement. So we'll provide more information and things like that as we get closer to May 23rd, but I did want to let everyone know, a little bit in advance so I don't completely just drop a bombshell on you the day of. But bittersweet for sure. Like I said, we'll provide more updates on things, related to the channel, what's next in the coming days. But if you are interested in taking my job, the link to apply is in the comments and description of today's video. So let's get on to the sports side of things. Enough of the Matthew drama. So some Vegas odds have come out following, the draft and rookie minicamp. And if you're wondering, hey, Vegas always knows, what do they think about the Browns rookie quarterback competition? Right now, they've got Shedeur as a favorite to see more snaps in 2025. Coming out of rookie minicamp, I've got a couple of thoughts I want to share. One, it's rookie minicamp. Like, no jobs are won and lost in rookie minicamp. Now, in this year with an open quarterback competition, yeah, there's probably going to be a bit of a bigger, magnifying glass on every single snap than in previous years where you have an established start and you have some rookies just learning the playbook and, just getting the offense and defensive install it. But don't lose sight of it is just rookie minicamp. Having said that, if you really wanted to twist my arm and say, who looked better? I got to know. Just give me a name. Don't be a pussy. Just tell me who looked better. I'd say Shedeur Sanders probably had more of the wow plays, whereas Dillon Gabriel was maybe a little bit more, I wouldn't say consistent, but, on time. It's not a huge sample size. It's a weekend of practice where they do some 7-on-7 drills, some 11-on-11 drills. Dillon Gabriel threw an interception to Carson Swessinger, so I know people are going to flock to that as evidence as Shedeur kicked his ass. All right, well, in a week or two when Shedeur throws an interception, let's not all flock to that as evidence of Dillon Gabriel kicked his ass, right? It's rookie minicamp. There's going to be good days. There's going to be bad days. But if you really want to know, hey, who looked better? Just give me a name. I'd say Shedeur Sanders. But I don't think there's a huge margin between the two quarterbacks. Now, Vegas also has some odds on who could be the week one starting quarterback, in case you're wondering. Flacco is the favorite at minus 150. By the way, if you don't know, what these lines mean in English, it means if you bet $150, you win $100. Whereas for Kenny Pickett, if you bet $100, you win $165. So they've got Pickett next, then Shedeur, and then Dillon Gabriel very far behind. So Vegas is not the gospel when it comes to, everything in sports. Obviously, the odds makers want to be right. They don't want to be, wrong and get burned for it. But there are lots of examples of Vegas odds makers being very wrong on things, especially in the NFL draft. So this is just a bit of a crapshoot, but maybe like an organized crapshoot. So Flacco right now in the lead, and Shedeur, you can see, is behind Kenny Pickett, but a good amount of space ahead of him, between him and Dillon Gabriel. I believe Joe Flacco will be this team's week one starting quarterback. It's not very common for quarterbacks taken outside of round one to start week one. It's not actually, it's extremely uncommon. And then on top of that, it's actually decently common for quarterbacks taken in round one to not start week one. Baker Mayfield did not start week one. First overall draft pick. There's not a lot of, examples of rookies taken after round one or even just taken after round, from 3 to 7 of guys just emerging and winning the job outright during training camp. It's happened before. Russell Wilson is like the most, notable example. Seattle signed Matt Flynn from the Green Bay Packers, who balled out in Week 17 for Green Bay Russ came in and kicked ass during camp and won the job for week 1. I've got one example off the top of my head in the last 15 years. You just don't see it very often. So you can get some decent value, I guess, with one of these two if you really do want to know who to throw some cheddar down on. But if I'm Kevin Stefanski, I'm thinking, which of these four quarterbacks gives me the best chance to win week 1? They don't have to give me the best chance to be a playoff contender, be my long-term quarterback, but I like to win week 1 because that's the way coaches think, week by week. And I would assume Stefanski goes with Flacco, a quarterback he has had success with, a quarterback who's 40 years old and knows this offensive scheme, who can just step right in after maybe letting some of the younger guys get a lot of the reps in training camp so they can start to get up to NFL speed and go, yep, I came off my couch for you 2 years ago. I can step in week 1, even if you want to make these guys the focal point in training camp and preseason to figure out who's going to be the guy that replaces Flacco if they bench him or he gets injured, since Joe has not started 17 games in 6-7 years. So I can understand why the Browns decide to let these guys get a lot of the reps, but Flacco ends up starting week 1 because I think Stefanski's going to pick the quarterback that gives him the best shot of starting week 1. And like I said, I think that's Joe Flacco. So speaking of week 1, it's the Cincinnati Bengals coming to town. Second time in the last 3 years now, 2023. Browns beat the crap out of them that year, so that was a fun game. Hopefully it's a repeat this year, but let me know who you think is going to start week 1 against Cincinnati. Some just dates to store away for the rest of the offseason. We've got some OTA sessions. These dates can be somewhat fluid, and by fluid I mean cancelable, because if they feel like the first 2 days of practice went well, teams will often just cancel the third day, especially during mandatory minicamp, which is June 10th to the 12th. Sometimes they make that 12th, the last day, like a field day. Just, we're going to have some fun. We're going to, go to an amusement park. We're going to do something not football related. The Rams are going to Hawaii for theirs, so maybe they go surfing or something like that. But just some dates to keep in mind as we inch closer to, that real portion of the offseason when things really start to die down. But talking about Shedeur and Dillon Gabriel, I'm going to warn you right now, your feed, your timeline, wherever you get your Browns content from, whether you're a repeat, viewer or you're coming in for the first time, get ready for constant quarterback updates. I'm talking Shedeur threw a touchdown today. He's the new starter. The next day, he threw an interception, but Kenny Pickett threw a touchdown. Pickett's the starter. From someone that works, I wouldn't say in the media, but like covering the Browns for a living, I'll let you guys in on a secret. Quarterbacks kill. Like when it comes to getting attention and getting views and clicks from consumers and eyeballs, nothing drives people to your site, your channel, more than quarterback intrigue, quarterback information. So every single person with a website, with a YouTube channel, with any kind of forum that covers the Browns is going to be updating you on every single practice, session, throw from the 4 quarterbacks. So buckle up for constant twists and turns where one day it feels like Joe Flacco's on the top of the mountain and the next day he's on the bottom. Because no matter how small of a detail it is, you're going to get an update on it. Because Browns fans or Browns media members have not had a lot of intrigue to talk about in the offseason over the last few years. They haven't had a first-round draft pick since 2021. They haven't had a top 50 draft pick until this past year. There really hasn't been a quarterback battle or competition for the last few seasons. So without that, media members can get, a little stale in what there is to report or cover because fans just don't really care about the right tackle competition. At least not the majority of fans. So just warning you right now, buckle up. All right. JOK, we learned last week, out for the entire 2025 season. And I just wanted to share with you guys something he said in his message to the fan base as he included it in the, Cleveland Browns official press release regarding JOK's, status for 2025, going on the PUP list and missing all of this upcoming season. So JOK wrote, "To the Cleveland Browns fan base and my supporters worldwide, thank you for your patience in my silence. I've given my heart to this game. I don't know what's next, but I'll continue trusting my medical team, serving the community, and backing my brothers on the field." I'll be honest, this does not read as a very encouraging sign of he's going to be coming back in 2026. A lot of time between now and then, but I did not interpret it as he's going to return after this season, guaranteed, because it doesn't seem like he knows even himself. I'm just going to toss this out there right now. Make JOK an assistant coach. Doesn't have to be this year. Doesn't have to be next year, but I feel that if his unfortunately playing days are truly over, some point down the road, if he would be a good addition to the coaching staff, make it happen. Keep him involved in this organization because I've loved having JOK on the field and on this roster since day one, and I would love to keep that energy he brings in the facility, even if it's in a different role. Before we sign off, if you want to get a Shedeur Sanders jersey, a Quinshon Judkins jersey, a Mason Graham jersey, go to chatsports.com/CLE rookies. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. So if you want to get a new Browns jersey for 2025, support the channel and rock one of the rookie jerseys by going to chatsports.com/CLE rookies. All right, let's pick a card to wrap up today's episode. Okay. Which card do you want to go with, Reed? I'll go ace of spades. I'll round out the aces. Okay. Five of clubs. Five of clubs. All right. That's going to do it for us on today's episode. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will be back with another episode tomorrow.